The doctor walked in to check up on his recovery and was shocked beyond belief at what he saw. Hey guys, this is a story of two twin boys who were separated at birth and they lived completely different lives, but the outcomes represent what can happen if you're provided with a solid foundation versus a crumbling foundation. But there's a twist at the end, so stay tuned because you're not going to want to miss it. I am going to read off here because, again, this story is a lot to memorize. So as the story goes, on April 21st, 1925, the world welcomed two beautiful baby boys by the name of Thomas and Charlie. Both were perfectly healthy and extremely curious as they opened their brand new pair of eyes to start exploring the world. Shortly after their birth, they were taken home by their nurturing parents, David and Catherine, and put into their cribs where they were sound asleep throughout the night. Everything was perfect. A few weeks went by and David and Catherine decided they wanted to go out for a night to themselves once the babies were asleep. So they called the boys' Uncle Steve and had him babysit for a few hours. Uncle Steve was more than happy to help and graciously accepted the offer. So David and Catherine drove off into the night, all decked out, to enjoy some much needed alone time. However, 4 hours later, Uncle Steve was woken by the home phone at 3 a.m. As Steve hesitantly answered, he was given the unfortunate news that David and Catherine had been hit by a drunk driver and had sadly passed away. After the incident, the boys were secretly split up between two different families who wanted to adopt only one child each, the Waltons and the Petersons. This is where it gets interesting. Thomas was adopted by the Walton couple, who were the pinnacle of perfection. They were madly in love with each other and had an amazing understanding for one another. Aside from their billion-dollar net worth, the Waltons were the most caring family you've ever met. Every year, they donated not only their valuable time to the community, but upwards of $20 million to charities all over the world. Along with helping others, they were very family-oriented and gave Thomas all the love and support he could ever ask for. Growing up, Thomas went to the best private schools others only imagined sending their kids to. He got an amazing education and built strong foundational skills that helped him succeed in all his classes and courses. After graduating at the top of his class in high school as valedictorian, Thomas received an invitation to attend Harvard University, which would have been a simple decision to say yes to were it not for the other invitations he received from Princeton, Yale, and Stanford. After choosing Harvard as his school of choice, he decided he wanted to become a doctor. Not only did he become one of the best doctors in the nation, but Thomas was also given a prestigious award for his achievements in the medical field. Thomas grew up to be a successful, well-established young man and got married to a beautiful woman named Amelia, who was a cardiologist and one of the best in the world at that. With the large amount of money Thomas and Amelia made together, not only were they able to have the wedding of the century for all their friends and family to enjoy, but they were comfortably able to live a lavish lifestyle of traveling the world, eating the best types of foods, driving the nicest cars, meeting the most amazing people, and buying not only expensive things, but unforgettable memories to cherish forever. After seeing every corner of the world themselves and experiencing the greatest joys of a healthy life, they decided to share it with her own little bundle of joy, a baby girl by the name of Faith. Through the unmeasurable amount of love and support from her parents, Faith grew up to become very loving and successful just like her parents. She was very thankful to her parents for they had given her the best gift of all, a wonderful foundation to build her life on, and she returned the favor by giving them back 2 grandchildren after marrying the love of her life. After spending years watching their grandkids grow to become amazing, respectable adults, Thomas and Amelia knew it was soon time to part ways with this beautiful world. As Thomas lay in his hospital bed, inches away from his last breath, his grandson asked him a simple but interesting question. "Grandpa, what was the best part of life?" To which Thomas replied, "The best part of life was, is, and always will be to have even lived at all." Thomas passed away December 12th, 2020 at the age of 95. Devastated, Amelia, after having saved thousands of hearts as a cardiologist, could do nothing to save her own, as it got weaker and weaker at the loss of her true love and best friend. She died 10 days later of broken heart syndrome. Because of Thomas's amazing foundation given to him by his blessed parents, he was not only able to live an amazing life himself, but pass it on to the generations after him. So that's the story of Thomas. On the other hand, Charlie was adopted by the Peterson family. The Petersons lived in a small home in Arlington, Texas. Charlie's parents, Fred and Margaret, loved him very much. Unfortunately, a whole lot more than they loved each other. The moment Charlie was brought into the home, things got more calm than ever before, and there was a peaceful blanket over the home, but only for a little while. Soon after, Fred and Margaret started to fight again over anything and everything. From that point on, without the Petersons knowing, they were putting Charlie through indirect abuse and domestic violence. By the time Charlie was 3, Fred and Margaret split up and shared custody of Charlie. But the back and forth was too much to bear for little Charlie, and there was no stability in anything, no comfort to grasp onto, and no one place to call home. The constant changes put Charlie in an untrusting, hypervigilant state. He lost trust in his father, mother, and his friends. His worldview became something along the lines of, I'm in this alone. I can't trust anybody. Throughout middle school and high school, Charlie struggled to make friends, get good grades, and follow the rules. He turned to drugs to numb the pain. Having failed the 12th grade, he watched all his classmates graduate and move on to universities while he dealt with the fact that he would have to repeat that year all over again. Charlie finally graduated high school, but with a GPA of 1.9, which only gave him admission into the nearest community college. Things settled a bit, and Charlie started to do better in college until Charlie's mother, Margaret, met a man named Gary, who was in his 50s. They got remarried, but since she never gave up her old ways, she was constantly fighting with him as well, which brought upon more stress in the house to everyone, including young Charlie. Due to the immense stress and constant fighting at home, Charlie couldn't focus in college and dropped after only 1.5 years and turned to more drugs and alcohol. Not only did he significantly struggle with relationships, but he had an anger problem that most likely stemmed from his father, Fred. He also could never hold a proper job. Because of this, he lacked money and eventually turned to crime. On his third robbery, he was finally caught and arrested. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison. After he got out, Charlie was back out in the real world looking for a job, but because of his criminal background, failed to get one and turned back to drugs and alcohol to numb the pain. One night, he was leaving the bar and was hammered beyond belief and decided to drive home. Swerving left and right, Charlie ended up crashing his car into a pole head-on, in which he sustained severe injuries to his face and body. His face so swollen, it was unrecognizable. The paramedics were searching for his phone and wallet to identify him, but little did they know he'd forgotten it at the bar. Regardless, he was rushed to the hospital and was immediately taken into surgery. The surgeons performed emergency surgery and saved Charlie's life. It was another 3 days before he could speak again, and the swelling went down in his face, enough for people to finally be able to make out his face. The doctor walked in to check up on his recovery and was shocked beyond belief at what he saw. It was like looking in a mirror. He didn't know it yet, but the life that he just saved was his own twin brothers. After digging deeper, it was clear the two were in fact twins separated at birth. Everything matched. Why they were kept in the dark for so long? No one knows. In 2 months, Charlie made a full recovery, but was still struggling to find a job. And with medical bills piling up, Thomas offered to help Charlie with getting set up with the rehab center and told him everything will be taken care of. Having no other options left, Charlie accepted the offer. It's now been 3 years since the accident. Since then, Charlie has held a job for 2.5 years, went back to school to finish his bachelor's, and also been completely and happily sober since. And that's the story of Charlie. Really quick, guys, I just want to say, if you have a bad or good foundation in the beginning of your life, it's not the end-all be-all, and it doesn't make or break your life per se. But the likelihood of you succeeding if you have been set up with a great foundation is a lot higher. And the likelihood of you not succeeding if you've been set up with a crumbling foundation and there's constant struggle in your family, then that likelihood of you succeeding is a lot lower. So this is my message to parents. If there are unresolved issues, please resolve them in a way that it doesn't negatively impact your children, because their future truly is in your hands. So that's my message to you guys. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, share it with a friend or family member. Also hit that thumbs up as well, that notification bell, and of course that subscribe button as well. So when we release these videos, you guys get notified. If you guys need anyone to talk to, feel free to reach out via Instagram, which is BeYourOwnYou. And also you can email us at yourownYou@gmail.com. And in the event of a mental health emergency, you can dial 988, which is the new suicide prevention hotline. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Keep your head up, stay positive, and of course, most importantly, be your own you. Take care.